Hi, and welcome to Transparent with Tina, a holistic approach for mental, physical, and spiritual well being so you can become the best version of yourself. Welcome to Transparent with Tina. I am Tina Marks, your host. Today's guest is Lauren Zoeller. She is a dynamic seven-figure entrepreneur, host of the Aligned Love podcast, acclaimed speaker and author. She's the visionary founder of the Aligned Experience. She's a leading expert in reparenting, generational healing, and somatic experiencing. Through her work, she developed the voice activation method, which has empowered thousands of successful men and women to heal from past trauma and take control of their futures. Her insights have been featured on Drew Barrymore's show, The New York Post, Business Insider, and many more. Welcome, Lauren. I'm so happy to have you here today, and I've got so many questions for you.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so you help others unravel the survival patterns wired in your nervous system that are keeping one from moving forward in a true peace, fulfillment, and balance in every area of one's life. So tell me, how did you get into this line of work? What's your backstory?
So, I found somatic experiencing through my own tumultuous journey through relationships, is what I
Mm-hmm.
like to tell people. To keep the story short, I had been through years and years and years of traditional therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that I like to tell my story is through the lens of relationships, because that's truly where I've done the most healing in my life.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to a point in my late 20s, early 30s, where I recognized that I was repeating the same pattern of dating alcoholic men. And I had no history of alcoholism in my family whatsoever.
Hmm.
And so I was aware through therapy, through traditional talk therapy, that this was a pattern that was created from my childhood because I learned at a very young age. I grew up, in a long line of Polish women. I was taught that you do not get to sit down and eat your dinner until everybody else has eaten first.
Mm.
So if you're happy, then I can be happy
Mm-hmm.
versus let me take care of myself and that will, bleed onto others. And so I recognized through therapy that I cognitively I realized that I was no different than the alcoholic because I was in a lot of ways repeating the pattern of helping someone else. If I could be the one that was there when he got out of rehab, if I could be the one that got him to rehab, then I was worthy of love,
Mm-hmm.
which was the same pattern that I learned from the women in my family at a very young age, which is if you take care of everybody else first,
Yeah.
then you're worthy of love. So in talk therapy, cognitively, I could make that connection,
Yeah.
but something was still missing. And after my fourth relationship with an alcoholic, being about $40,000 in debt in my business, 30 to 40K in debt in my business. And then I had a health scare. I had a cancer scare. I realized something isn't clicking. There is
Mm-hmm.
something in this traditional, I've been in talk therapy for 10 years. Why is none of this working?
Right.
And I had someone that introduced me to somatic therapy, somatic experiencing. And I recognized in that moment that even though cognitively I had made the connection between what had happened
Mm-hmm.
at a young age by learning this pattern and how it was attracting men now, my nervous system, cognitively, I knew it. My nervous system was still seeking out that familiar dynamic because it felt really comfy in my body. And I was doing it unconsciously
Right.
because it was the only way that I learned how to receive love. So through somatic experiencing and somatic therapy, I was able to start to rewire these survival responses that
Mm-hmm.
were, in essence, I got my body online with my brain. And the
Yes.
result was that I found my first healthy partnership in my early 30s. I took my business from 30 to 40K in debt to doing 40K in 1 month. And I eradicated my cancer scare. And so that in that moment, I was like, there's something to this work. I need to dedicate my life to it and I need to walk other women through the same path.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And I've been there exactly where you are. Courses, therapy, you know it in your mind. And then
Mm-hmm.
what happens when you repeat the pattern, you beat yourself up even more because you're like, I know better, but it's just like this. All it takes is for you to get triggered and you're
Yeah.
back in the same response, fight or flight right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you say that you felt, what did you say, cozy when you had that feeling?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that that was like because it was familiar? It was something that is familiar. So that's another reason we keep repeating that, right? Because,
Yeah, well, yeah, and if we look at it through a nervous system lens, the response that was really familiar to me was the fawn response, which is the people pleasing
yes.
response, which is it comes from the parasympathetic branch of your nervous system.
Hmm.
There's a lot of freeze that's happening inside, so you feel locked down inside, but externally, you're saying things, doing things to get people to accept you, to get people to like you.
Hmm.
And so this fawn survival response, once I started to kind of unpack it, I realized my great grandmother came over here from Poland,
Hmm.
and her husband at the time said, "Hey, listen, we just need to be accepted. So do whatever you need to do to keep peace, right? And to get people to like us." It was a survival mechanism at that
Yes.
point in her life. But the thing was, is that she never renegotiated that response. And so she taught that to my grandmother, who then taught that to my mother, who then taught that to me. And so this response became, I'll never forget, my mom used to say to me, "This is just who we are. This is just who we are. Like, we just worry about everybody else and we want to make sure everybody's okay. It's just who we are, Lauren."
Hmm.
And that was so ingrained in me.
Yes.
Like, this is just who I am. So it was a familiar response that even even though I woke up to it in talk therapy and recognized that it was a problem, my nervous system still felt a false sense of safety
Hmm.
when I would meet a man that would need,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Because
And
that
so
that
I
was your
set that
worth.
up.
That was
Right.
that's what made you feel worthy. And I did a podcast 2 weeks ago, I think it was, and when I was talking about how when we do that, that people pleasing, because I'm an HSP and I'm an empath. I mean, that is like, first and foremost, and also the same, kind of different background, but kind of like I always had to prove my worthiness. Me
Mm-hmm.
just being me, I wasn't worthy. So that gets stored in your subconscious mind and in your internal body. So, like when you say that you had a scare with cancer, I actually had cancer. And so I know that that trapped energy
Yeah.
that's stuck inside of our body, and that's what it is. It's trapped negative energy that we need to release.
Yeah.
And so this is why this is so important. Knowing it in your brain and then having it reach on a cellular level is
Yeah.
completely different.
For
So
sure.
so you got into the somatic healing. Tell us what somatic practitioner experiencing,
Mm-hmm.
what exactly is that?
Yeah, so somatic work, and I want to differentiate because there's a difference between, a lot of people will call themselves, they'll put somatic in front of everything these days. So people will say, "I'm a somatic breathwork coach and I'm a somatic Reiki healer." Like, they put somatic in front of everything. And
Mm-hmm.
there's a difference between a somatic modality, like tapping. Tapping is a somatic modality.
Okay.
Breath work is a
Yes.
somatic modality. Meditation is a somatic modality. Same with yoga. Yoga is a somatic modality. What I am trained in is somatic renegotiation, so trauma renegotiation. So I'll give you an example. If you have experienced trauma in your past, and let's say that you have an overdeveloped relationship to the flight response,
Mm-hmm.
okay? If I take you into a breathwork session, chances are, if you have a lot of flight in your system,
Mm-hmm.
breath work may feel like it's unattainable for you. You may actually feel worse when you leave a somatic breathwork session.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because if you have an overdeveloped relationship to the flight response, breath work could be taking you back into that response and
Mm-hmm.
re-traumatizing your system. Okay.
Okay.
So, what we are taught as somatic practitioners, which I am trained through SEI, which is the Somatic Experiencing Institute, through Dr. Peter Levine's method, what we're taught is, how do we recognize, how do we track an individual system? How do I look at how trauma is stored in your body? And how do I bring in what's called a counter vortex, which is a healing vortex, so that we can renegotiate your trauma in your system in real time versus re traumatizing you?
Okay.
So it's not that breath work's not effective. It's not that tapping is not effective. It's not that meditation is not effective. But the thing is that it's a blanket approach to an individual problem. Trauma shows up so differently in every system. So, as a practitioner, I'm trained with my clients to be able to track your nervous system and watch it go into a trauma response and then enter in a counter vortex so that we can renegotiate that survival response in real time. So, as a somatic practitioner, it's about a 4 to 5 year program. And
Okay.
most somatic breathwork courses or somatic EFT, somatic modalities, or you
Hmm.
can become a somatic practitioner in a weekend,
You
which is a little
can't.
bit different.
Yeah, yeah,
You cannot.
you can't. You're right, exactly. No, there's no way that you could do that. And you know what? Everything that you have just said, I have tried and done. I didn't realize up until I think 2 years ago that one, I was an HSP and an empath. I didn't realize. Well, I had a breakdown body wise. I was filled with anxiety and depression. I couldn't even leave the house. And
Mm-hmm.
first thing I found was my gut was, all messed up. Everything's in the gut. And, I realized that 90% of your serotonin, dopamine are made in your gut. So I got through that. But it's still, it was for the first time in my life that I realized that I have an underlying anxiety all the time. It's gotten better, but like, for example, anything that didn't kind of go my way, anything that kind of felt out of place or something, like even my son will say, "I'll help you if you calm down." Because like the first thing is, oh my God, like the sky's falling. Whether it's
Mm-hmm.
I can't open something or I can't,
Yeah.
and I realize that that comes from my childhood, nothing ever being good enough, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I am now. And I'm trying, and I'm doing breath work every single morning, doing box breathing. And then I do 20 second, 20 second, 20 second. I'm doing the grounding mat. I'm doing the brain tap. I don't know if you ever heard of that by Dr. Patrick Porter, where the binaural beats go in your ear with the red and blue light
Yeah.
therapy, and basically he's hypnotizing you. But the last 2 weeks have been so challenging for me, and I still I mean, like right now, I feel like I'm in fight or flight, and
Yeah.
and so I doing this like me on my own, it helps, but it's not releasing me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's because you have a lot of hypervigilance in your system, right? We
Hmm.
as successful women, especially entrepreneurs, in a lot of ways, our hypervigilance has created empires. It's created beautiful jobs for us, right? But what got you here is not going to get you there. And we recognize at some point, like this sense of always running away from the bear, of having this
Yes.
overdeveloped relationship with fight or flight, this hypervigilance in our system, it's actually going to stall us from being able to reach higher depths of where we want to go. So I would suggest that you work with a somatic practitioner because here's the thing, all of those modalities are great, they're wonderful. But if they're not actually working to renegotiate the response, they're a waste of time.
Right.
And they may work
And
for
it
some
makes you feel
people.
worse because you're like, I'm
Yeah.
doing this and I'm spending the time to do this. And it helps. It's helped until I'm really triggered.
Yes.
And then
Right.
then it's just like panic
Out the
and
window.
out
Well,
the window.
because, right. The reason is because when you are in a survival state, a true survival state, your brain goes offline.
Hmm.
So you
You
can't
can't get it
actually
back.
say, yeah, you're like, okay, I can't get out this list and start going down all of these things that I have to do. You just want to get to safety,
Right.
right? And so we
Right.
have to work with those responses to try to renegotiate them in real time through pendulation, through titration, which are all exercises that SAPs do, so that we can start to expand your nervous system's capacity to not just be with safety, because it sounds like there may be a lack of a healthy relationship to safety that we need to expand, but we
Hmm.
also need to expand your capacity to be with healthy activation, which means I can notice that this feels triggering. And also, I can orient to where I am. I can be with this activation and not feel like I'm blown past my window of tolerance.
Yes.
And that is what somatic, true deep somatic renegotiation work does, is
Hmm.
it gives you healthy access to flexibility in your nervous system. And right now, there's just a lack of flexibility.
Right. Exactly. So when somebody's working with you, let's say me, like how long would I work with you? Would it be one session? Would it be 20 sessions? It's probably depends on the individual, but somebody that's very hypervigilant like me, what
Yeah,
would you say?
it depends. It really is nervous system to nervous system because how you have different things that are coupled inside of your system,
Mm-hmm.
whereas someone else may have other things that are coupled, and we have to uncouple those parts. Most of my clientele, though, minimum 6 months.
Okay. And that's
Truly.
what, once a week, twice a month? What?
So, yeah, I mean, it depends on what container you come in to my world in. Inside of my group container, the collective,
Mm-hmm.
most women are there for 6 months. If you come into one on one with me, I have a minimum of 3 months. But
Okay.
most of my women stay with me for years because, and it's not, and here's what I want to preface with that. I don't want you for years.
I was
I
going to
want you to
say,
graduate
yeah,
out of the nest, and
yeah,
most women do. But what happens is that they start to see such massive change in their relationships, and then they realize, wow, now I really want to work on what are the patterns inside of my relationship to money? What about my
yes,
relationship to purpose? What about my relationship to my health? All of these areas start to shift because we recognize like I'm holding on to so much survival in all of these different areas. Can I work on another area now that I found love, I found success, I've stepped into wealth.
you know,
So I would say minimum it's 3 months for one-on-one work.
minimum of 3 months. That makes a lot of sense. And what your voice activation system?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So what I've noticed with almost every woman that has made her way into my world is that we have lost connection to our truth, our voice. And the way that I work with my clients is I always say that I believe we have a soul body and we have a human body.
Mm-hmm.
We have a human experience and a soul experience. And in order to live a really robust life and have the things we deeply desire, we need to have a beautiful relationship to both our human body and our soul based body.
Mm-hmm.
And I speak a lot in my work about the power of frequency. I don't know if you're big on quantum
Energy
physics.
frequency. Yes,
Yeah, energy
absolutely.
frequency.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can't have a healthy relationship to the quantum field if our human body is in survival all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so normally when women make their way into my world, they come in the first frequency level that I like to call responsibility. So most of the women they come in, they recognize, you know what? I don't want to be in victim frequency anymore. Like I'm kind of done with blame. I'm done with being in shame all the time. I'm done with being in anger and fear.
I'm done with not
I'm
moving
ready.
forward in the directions that I want to move forward. Like I'm
Yep.
expending all this work and like treading water or
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. And they
It's
say, I'm
survival
ready.
mode. It's just survival mode. And yeah, and then what? Yeah, and then you
Yeah.
okay,
So
go ahead.
they come in, they're like, I'm ready. They come in and even just making that line in the sand by saying, like, I'm ready to do the deep somatic work, they step into the first frequency, which is responsibility frequency, which
Mm-hmm.
is I recognize my reality is a reflection of something that's going on internally and I'm ready to shift it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Once they start to work with me and we start to do the somatic work, the human body starts to then shift in from responsibility frequency into compassion and gratitude frequency, which
Mm-hmm.
is I can have compassion that these patterns I'm recognizing were there to serve me. Like
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm-hmm.
hypervigilance
Mm-hmm.
is actually really beautiful because it's
Mm-hmm.
kept you really safe in a
Mm-hmm.
lot of ways.
It
Okay.
served me then for
Right.
survive to be exactly what we're talking about, to survive when I was a little person and I couldn't do anything. And that's what I think most people don't understand. Like when they say, this is just the way I am. Hey, real quick, let's talk about something we all deal with, but never really think about. Electromagnetic radiation. Yeah, EMF. It's everywhere from our phones, laptops, Wi Fi routers, even our smart fit fridges. And no, I'm not saying ditch your tech. I mean, who could? But I am saying you can protect yourself from unnecessary exposure with Aries Tech. Backed by peer reviewed studies and independent testing, Aries Tech makes compact, science backed EMF modulation devices that help reduce the effects of electromagnetic radiation on your body. Rather than blocking the EMFs, Aries Tech's products work with your own body's electromagnetic field to balance out the effect. Yes, you heard that right. Our body is made up of energy, and this works with your own energy to balance out the effects. I've got one around my neck, one on my phone, and one in my living room. And honestly, it gives me peace of mind knowing I'm doing something small that can make a big difference over time. So whether you're working from home, gaming for hours, or just scrolling your feed in bed, protect your space. Check them out at ariestech.com and use the code TINA25 for 25% off your order. That's AIRES tech.com because your body deserves better. No, you're
Yes.
talking about rewriting the story because yes, it served you and that's great, but is it serving you now?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And that's where we start to have compassion for ourselves, and we're
Mm-hmm.
able to say, I know these patterns aren't serving me. I'm ready to shift them in my human body, but I'm also really ready to do it from a space of compassion and not shame because
Mm.
I know that they were meant for me. They got me to where I am right now. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Then once we start to make our way into that frequency and we can stand fully in it,
Mm-hmm.
we then start to rise into truth frequency, which is now that I have compassion and I understand these patterns, I can now own who I am. I can own my desires fully, and I can be a yes for what is in alignment with those desires. And I
Mm-hmm.
can be a no for anything that is not in alignment with those
Alignment.
desires.
Mm-hmm.
And that process of going from that space of gratitude into truth is what the voice activation method was built on. It's
Okay.
how do I really start to renegotiate the shutdown of my voice
Mm-hmm.
through telling my story, through speaking the things that feel hard, through owning that I'm creating my reality right now. And because I speak it, it becomes mine. We
Yes.
start to shift when we get out of compassion frequency. What happens is we start to shift into the soul body, we start to shift into the energetic body, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like my desires are now becoming one with my human body. And then there's a next step up from there, which is freedom, which we talk about later in my program. But the voice activation method helps us bridge that gap from gratitude and compassion into full truth of what
Right.
you're worthy of receiving.
And I think the word compassion is so important here because I think none of us give ourselves enough compassion. And I'll just speak for myself. I've gotten much better. But when I used to get triggered, I would say things that I would regret. It was my pain body is what it was. But I mean, seriously, now I can take a step back, go, don't write that email, don't make that phone call, wait 24 hours. But before, I had no control. It would just come out.
Right,
And then there goes the guilt and the shame. And talk about energy frequency, the emotional scale, that's the lowest one on the scale.
right,
And up what I have learned too is like the most important thing is to be in a place of joy and gratitude is like so overused, but just focusing on joy and not the the lower frequencies. Let's talk a little bit about relationships and attachment styles, right? Okay, so there's the three attachment styles. There's the avoidant, the secure, and the anxious. Guess which one I was. Come on, guess.
yeah, anxious.
Yeah,
But
that
there's actually four. There's
okay.
four
What's
attachment
the
styles too, because there's disorganized, which is the push pull, which is the combo of both anxious and avoidant.
and avoidant? That
Mhm.
that might be me. That would be me.
That's what my intuition's telling me.
Yeah,
See?
you're right. You're right. Because if they came too much forward, then I would be the avoidant and which I don't even think most people even know what that is. So would you say this is all based on your nervous system as well? Or is this,
Oh, for
because
sure.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have a practitioner program that teaches coaches how to become trauma informed and or trauma trained. And we have an entire module on attachment theory and the nervous system.
hmm
And the way that I like to teach it is that the different attachment theories and attachment styles are beautiful for you to look at for deeper curiosity around your patterns and the way that
hmm
your nervous system responded to keep you safe. But what they are not is a label. And I think that a lot of people use attachment styles as, oh my gosh, I'm anxiously attached. Oh my gosh, I'm disorganized. Oh my
And then
gosh, I'm
whatever you put
avoidant.
after that word, I am, you're storing that into your subconscious
Yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And even going back to, and this may ruffle some feathers, even going back to the label empath,
Mm-hmm.
even going back to the label HSP, like
Mm-hmm.
those are all, they're labels to make the adaptation, to make your survival response make sense in your body. And so the thing is that I often tell my clients when they come to me, I love that you identify with being an empath. Let's look at how that, because being an empath is actually a survival response. It's, I can attune to everyone's emotions. And because I can attune to everyone's emotions, then I can control the room. I can control what's happening.
That makes
And
sense.
if I can control what's happening, then I'm not in threat.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay. And what about HSP? Is that you think that's the same thing? So let me get this straight. So are you saying if I heal my nervous system, then I wouldn't be an empath or an HSP anymore?
It depends on whether or not you're willing to drop the label. Right. So I'll give you an example. I
Oh, I'm not
was,
attached to it. I just recognize this. So this is why I'm, talking about it. Yeah.
yeah. And that's the thing, right? That's what labels are great. Attachment styles are great. And this is what I tell a lot of my clients. Like your ability to be empathic in a room, like served you so deeply. It
Mm-hmm.
helped you manage.
Mm.
I used to label myself as an empath because I
Mm-hmm.
came from a dad who had a lot. He was the youngest of 10 kids. He wasn't seen very much. And so there were a lot of emotional outbursts.
Mm-hmm.
So if I could manage his emotions and not get dad to explode, because I could tell when he was about to
Right,
go there,
right, right. Me too.
right?
Yeah.
Then all was peachy and fine. But what happened is that becomes hypervigilance. That is a nervous system response to keep us safe. Because a true child who is attuned and in secure attachment is just living life free. It's like in a room, yeah, maybe you can have healthy attunement an emotion. I can say I can witness you in that, but I don't have to take it on. I don't have to merge with
Mm-hmm.
that and be responsible for it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with HSP, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if you're highly sensitive, that means you're picking up on all types of sensitivities, and there's a gift to it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a part of it that can be really detrimental because if you're constantly taking on everyone else's stuff,
Even
then
collectively.
yes,
Now, I mean, what's
then
going on right now? I mean, that I will, I mean, yeah, yeah.
yeah, exactly. You got it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, I always say, like, not that empath is bad, not that HSP is bad, not that I teach avoidant attachment, disorganized attachment, anxious attachment.
Mm-hmm.
But I want people to start to look at these quote unquote labels as, think about them more as a suggestion to get curious
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
about how that kept you safe at one point in your life,
Right.
right? And
Right.
there's a gift, and there's also a part that could potentially be a space for you to grow into.
So are you saying like an empath is like a glorified people pleaser?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
don't think, okay, but I have, so let me ask you a question. If I had, like my son is exactly what you just said. He is so balanced, he's so grounded, nothing ruffles his feathers. Now, granted, my parenting towards him was different than what I had,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, would you say that people that don't feel other people's feelings or like an HSP hear things louder and everything else, that is all comes from your central nervous system. So, if I was
Yeah.
raised more like my son was raised, that maybe that's why he doesn't have the ability to feel other people's feelings. So, somebody like my son, do they have the ability to feel other people's feelings?
Yes. It's not about not being, here's what there's a term in somatic work, okay? There's a difference between merging and joining.
Okay.
Okay. So the difference between merging and joining is you're having an emotional reaction.
Yes.
You're crying. You're really sad. I can say, gosh, I recognize your sadness, and I can hold space, and I can be in the space of I can join you in that sadness. I can
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, I see you. I see the sadness there. It may even touch a part of me that feels the sadness too.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm not going to do is merge with your sadness.
Right.
I'm not going to make your sadness my sadness. And that is where, so if somebody's just stone cold, like I'm having an emotional reaction and they feel nothing ever,
Yeah.
then that's a different survival response, right? That's emotional unavailability. That's
Mm-hmm.
usually coming from there was a lot of emotions all the time. And so if I just shut down and pretend they're not there and withdraw and disassociate, then
Okay.
I'm golden,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Different survival response. But healthy, secure attachment would be I recognize you're sad. I
Mm-hmm.
recognize you're
And I'm
angry
here to listen to you, but not taking it on.
on,
Got it.
yes. And what happens oftentimes with empaths is I feel your sadness, and now your sadness is my sadness, and my day's ruined because I felt your sadness,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so that becomes, in a way, it's like, I mean this with so much love, but it's a way for
Without
people to,
even maybe recognizing it, like, in my mind. For example, I coach people, and I think
Mhm.
that's what makes me a great coach because I can tell the minute they come on what they're feeling and everything else. But I've had to scale back on one-on-one coaching because I feel like I'm taking that
taking it
all
on.
in. Right.
Yes. Yeah. And
Exactly.
I tell my practitioners all the time that go through my year-long facilitator program, something magical happened when I started to lead somatic work
Mm-hmm.
because I realized I could do 10 sessions in a day and feel energized.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Now.
was now, yeah,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I learned what it was like to have my own safety and my
Yeah.
own autonomy. And now I can't even, some of the things that I've heard from clients are unimaginable. Like the most horrific, traumatic things have happened with my clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I can witness them in that pain. I can be there with them in that pain,
But you're not taking it on.
but I'm not taking it on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so that truly is one of the most profound things about somatic work is that it teaches you how to join and not merge.
Right.
Right.
So
So,
what point would you say that somebody could learn from you, do your groups or the one-on-one, and then will they get to a point that they would be able to now practice that on their own and not be assisted?
oh, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. That's the
Okay.
goal.
Okay.
That's the goal,
That's
right?
the
We
goal.
want,
Like you said earlier, yeah, I mean that's a, even with the coach or anything else, you don't want them to stay forever.
no,
You want
no,
them to grow and be able to handle this on their own, right?
exactly. And I think that truly, and I speak out loud about this, and, a lot of people in the coaching industry would say, I shouldn't say this out loud, but I think that we have a really broken therapy system.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
that, right, we have our therapy system is meant to keep you in until you die.
Exactly.
And therapists are underpaid, which makes sense as to why they want to keep you till you die, right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
speaking
not
of
what we
that,
do here.
somatic therapy is not insurance doesn't cover it, does it? No, because
If you go to, yeah, it doesn't. If you go to there are some traditional therapists that are board certified who are also SEPs. So you
hmm
can look at that if you do want an insurance option. But most SEPs, to be truthful, have
not
somewhat stepped away from board certification so that they can do what they want to do versus what they're handcuffed
hmm
to have
that
to
makes
do
sense.
from a
That makes
board
sense.
certification standpoint.
Okay, going back to relationships again, you had gone through all these, I think it was 6 failed relationships, you said, right? I was just having this conversation with a girlfriend of mine who she's 15 years younger, but she's almost like a sister, same, like more trauma than I've had. And she's running 5 businesses and to attract, there's the feminine and then there's the masculine. And she was saying, how am I supposed to be in my feminine
Mm-hmm.
when I don't have a man and I've got 5 businesses and all this pressure? And what would you say to that? Because I feel like that too. Single mom, bread, everything. And it's like relaxing into your feminine is a little not only scary, it feels like jumping off a cliff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it goes back to what we spoke about
hmm
earlier. which
Mm-hmm.
is that you have created an overdeveloped relationship with the flight response. You
Mm-hmm.
have hypervigilance, and it's worked so
Mm-hmm.
well for you.
Mm-hmm.
It worked so well for me. It got my business to the seven-figure mark.
Mm-hmm.
And then I realized, I looked around and I was like, this isn't working.
Mm-hmm.
Like, money's coming in as quickly as it's going out. What is happening?
Yeah.
And so that is when I had to start. I wish that we could eliminate the conversation, masculine, feminine. I wish we could
Mm-hmm.
just throw it away, because people are, what's happening is people are trying to soften when their nervous system is saying, if I soften.
I'm going to lose everything. So, my doctor says that we don't die from old age, we die from inflammation. And I couldn't agree more. When I found him a couple of years ago, I was not in great shape. I had a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, and he found out it was all related to my gut. Did you know that 90% of your dopamine and 90% of your serotonin are made in your gut? Okay. So I have been on all of his products ever since that day. But the ones that I want to talk to you about are the alkalizers. He's got one for coffee and he's got one for alcohol. What do? They make the beverage from acidic to alkaline, which is so important because if your body is too acidic, it is a breeding ground for disease. So you want to keep your body in an alkaline balance. So with the coffee, it comes either for black coffee or it comes flavored as a creamer. I love the flavored ones. Vanilla is my favorite, but I also love the hazelnut. They're all delicious. One scoop, and it does not break your fast for one. It changes your body, your coffee from acidic to alkaline, which you don't have to feel guilty about drinking coffee anymore. And the one for alcohol does the same thing. 5 drops into any alcoholic beverage, and it will make it from acidic to alkaline, meaning no hangover. It doesn't change the taste, it doesn't change the color, and best of all, it doesn't change the buzz. You can still drink and enjoy yourself, all the while knowing that you're not causing inflammation in your body. So go to www.getoffyouracid.com and use the promo code Tina Marks 20.
Yeah. So this whole masculine, feminine conversation that's happening, I just think that it is in a lot of ways really detrimental, because there is absolutely no way that we can just tell a woman to soften
Mm-hmm.
when her nervous system has been wired to feel familiar with, if I, because she's seeing the result, right? If I hustle, if I do, then I will receive.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is that women start to take that same survival response into dating.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you can't do that in dating. You have to be in the space of safety, and you have to be in openness, and you have to be in the space of feeling willing and not being tied to, because what happens is women think in business, if I need to hit this amount of revenue, I'm going to do this many things
I
to
know where
hit
you're
it,
going with this. Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
And in love doesn't work that way.
No.
You can't achieve love. You cannot do it. Truly attracting the partner that you desire, it's all about frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to start to do the work to feel comfortable with slowing down, to feel comfortable with softness and safety.
Yes.
And that is where I believe, I mean, this is why I do this work. We have to teach the nervous system how to have a relationship with safety.
With safety and being and not having to be productive at all
Yes.
times. Yes.
Yeah, because that is what, because the thing is that you can stay in your hyper masculine, I'm using air quotes because people like to use that word. You
Mm-hmm.
can stay in the doing and the hypervigilance and the achievement. And what's going to happen is you're going to attract someone from that same space,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
right? And
Yes.
so if we want someone to balance us out, we've got to balance ourselves out first.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Because now if you're going to attract another, I know you don't like the word, another somebody that's in their masculine. And
Right.
that's not the balance. Right.
Yeah. Or someone who's completely in the opposite direction, but is all over the place because there's no access to safety in his nervous system
I see.
either.
Is there any foods you would say that add to the fight or flight? I mean, are there any things that
Yeah,
like really talk to
for
us about
sure.
that? Okay.
Yeah, coffee is a stimulant. Anything that's a stimulant, any energy drink, any coffee, any sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar is going to dysregulate your nervous system. I mean, what it does is it takes you into sympathetic charge. So coffee, which has caffeine in it, stimulates that sympathetic part of your nervous system, right? It jacks up your adrenal.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the same response your body doesn't know over time if you're actually running away from a bear or if it's caffeine takes you into that same space, right?
Interesting.
Just like alcohol does the same thing. Alcohol can dampen and take you into a freeze response. And then what's crazy about alcohol is the lifespan of alcohol, once it starts to wear off in your system, it'll then spike your blood sugar into sympathetic charge as you're coming down off of it.
Yeah, that I just heard that. It said like when you drink alcohol, GABA is released.
Yes,
And your body says, no, 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 too much GABA. Then it releases, I forgot what the other, and that's exactly what it does. And it just,
cortisol spikes
right,
your cortisol. Yeah,
spikes your
yeah,
cortisol.
yeah. So, and
Hmm.
same thing with caffeine. Caffeine spikes you high and drops you low.
Would you say the same
So,
thing about decaf or,
I mean, decaf still has some caffeine in it, but
yeah,
I drink decaf. I love the taste of coffee. I can't get
yeah,
that, you
yeah,
know. But because my nervous system is, I have so much capacity to knowing the language of my body now, like I'm
yeah,
constantly speaking to it, I can't really do full caffeinated coffee.
mm-hmm, right, right.
So you start to become more sensitive to things as you start to slow down and understand the language of your nervous system.
So, hey guys, okay, let's talk skincare. For most of my adult life, I had a hate relationship with my skin. I struggled with adult acne, discoloration, large pores, psoriasis, and fine lines. I swear, all that changed when I started using herbal face food. I mean, this stuff is powerful. We're talking the world's most potent antioxidant and anti blemish formula. And the serum is the number one anti aging serum in the world, made entirely from 100% botanical plants. No chemicals, no synthetics, 100% all natural. Whether you're dealing with fine lines, dark spots, sun damage, rosacea, psoriasis, melasma, or just want that all day healthy glow, Herbal Face Food has your skin covered. Literally. I've been using all their products for 3 years now, and let me tell you, it's like green juice for your face, only stronger. Remember, whatever you put on your skin goes in your body. So, this is a really important point here, seeing that it's 100% all natural. Give it a try. It's got a 100% money back guarantee, no questions asked. You can check them out at herbalfacefood.com. Promo code TINA20 for 20% off your entire order. That's herbalfacefood.com because your skin deserves the
Nervous
best.
system.
So when you're working with somebody, do you say, hey, listen, while we're doing this, until your nervous system gets regulated, you should avoid this, 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 and this?
Not normally,
Okay.
because the reason, if we do it too quickly, it's going to be too much for your nervous system.
Hmm.
What tends to happen is women start to work with me and then they naturally stop. They're like, gosh, man, I had a
It
couple,
falls away. That's what I have
falls away.
noticed. When I start, my nervous system starts to calm, any bad habits start to fall away.
Yes,
I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to concentrate on it. So this really is almost the answer to everything.
I've been saying it for a
Yeah.
while now.
Yeah. 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 No. And I've been, I've done inner child work. I've done shadow work. I've done cutting the cord. But this is
Yeah,
really getting to the root cause of it. And this is,
yeah,
there's so many people that are on antidepressants. And one thing that I never did, or anxiety medication, which my doctor prescribed, I never did that either because I just knew intuitively in my mind that that's not getting the root of it. I mean, it's just going to numb you out. It's not,
right.
and keep you further away from your inner knowingness. So tell us about the programs that you offer. You offer your one
Yeah,
on one, right?
yeah. So right now, my flagship program is the Aligned Love Collective,
Okay.
which is a 3 month minimum. I come into that currently.
Okay.
And we work through my 12-step framework in that. And it is a group container. So we meet twice a week right now for 90 minutes, and you receive one on one somatic support. So one on one somatic renegotiation support inside of the group container. So you come in, twice a week, raise your hand. I work with your nervous system, but you're also being witnessed by the other women who are in that
Okay.
community.
Uh-huh.
So that's the first way to come in, is through the collective. The
Collective.
second way, yeah, and really that's my flagship. So you can come to my retreats, and you can also work with me in a VIP one-on-one container. But
Hmm.
I do require that people come through the collective, experience the collective, to really come up into VIP, because VIP is like we're working really in depth. And I
Okay. So,
want you to really grasp the framework.
okay. So you would say that's the place for people to start.
Yeah, start with the collective.
Start the
Yep.
collective. It's 2 times a week. And how long is it?
It's a 3 month minimum to start.
No,
And
no.
then you
How
can
how long are the calls? It's on
90
Zoom.
minutes.
90
90
minutes.
minutes on Zoom. Mhm.
And how many people are on there?
It depends. Right now we have about 25 that are in there, but
Okay.
not everybody shows up. You don't have to come to both calls.
Right.
So I just say come at least once a week so that I can work on your system.
Right. That, yeah, because there was somebody that has like 1,000 people, and it's like she's
Yeah.
you can't. I was saying everybody's going to get a chance, is what you're saying, at least one
Yeah.
time a week, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And we only open it twice a year. So, and right now it's open. We're in open enrollment for it.
Oh,
So
it
you
is.
can come in.
When's it starting?
You
Has it
can come.
started?
Yeah, you can come in,
Okay.
but it's ongoing. It's evergreen. It's all year long, but we
Right.
only open doors to bring people in twice a year because I like to keep the group smaller.
Okay. And it's open now.
For that
Okay.
varies. It's open right now. So we are open for enrollment right now.
Okay. So that's the
Yes.
collective, and then what are the other ones?
Yeah. So you can come to one of my retreats. My next retreat is in May. We haven't solidified the exact dates. It's going to be in France, and it's an in-person immersive. Yeah, which is really wonderful. And then I do have a mastermind. So you can either come into my mastermind or work with me in my VIP one-on-one container, but you do have to come to my retreat in order to go into my mastermind or go into my one-on-one container.
So you have to go to the retreat in order to do work with you
Either
one
the
on one.
Yes, either the collective or the retreat.
Oh, okay.
One of
Okay.
those
So
two
the
options.
collective or the retreat. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then the tell us about Truth, the 2 day you call it extension, or other people could say
Yeah.
mastermind, October 27th at 28th. What can people expect from that?
Yeah. So we spoke just a little bit ago about truth frequency and what it looks like to step into voice activation to be able to live in that space of truth frequency. So the name of the class is called Truth. It is a
Mm-hmm.
2 day activation. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be teaching you how to be in that space of responsibility and also that space of compassion so that we can rise into our full truth frequency. So, we're going to be learning somatic practices that help you reclaim your voice. We're going to be looking at what do you actually want to call in the next year, and how can you start to use your voice and activate your power so that it can become yours, as we recognize how your nervous system's blocking you from having it.
Okay.
So that is October 27th, 28th,
And
and it
that's
is
all.
on
Is that all day
Zoom.
long? How many hours?
No, it's about, I mean, I always say it starts, I think, at 5 o'clock Central. No, 6 o'clock. We moved it. 6 o'clock Central time on both days. And I teach until I'm complete. It's usually, I like to say an hour, but I usually go 90 minutes to 2 hours, depending
Okay.
on how it channels and moves through me.
And do
So
people get to ask questions or anything like that too?
So there is a VIP option. You can
Okay.
purchase the VIP option, and there is a separate call for people to ask questions and be coached in real time by me in the VIP option.
Okay. And do they get a replay? Let's say they
Yes,
sign up, they can't be there.
they get a replay that will be available for a week.
Okay, perfect. And the promo code for that, everybody, is podcast, and you'll get 10% off, right?
Yes, both. Yep. The original ticket, so the original general admission ticket, or if you
Or
want
the
the VIP
VIP.
ticket, 10%
Okay.
off both.
And anything for the collective? Is it the same? Would it be the same? Do you have is it a promo code work for the collective? 10% off?
Promo code is just for the Truth Masterclass.
Okay.
But if you reach out to me personally on Instagram, if
Okay.
you send me a personal message on Instagram and let me know that you came from this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
we'll give you a little something for the collective.
Okay, great. So let
Yeah.
me ask you, if let's say I'm going to join the collective, do
Mhm.
I need to be on the truth as well, or would you say no, just go to the collective?
No, I would just go to the collective. I
Just
mean,
go to the
you can, yeah, if you're in just so everybody knows, if you're in the collective, all of my collective members get 50% off every master class that I do throughout the year.
Oh, okay. So if you did that, then you would get 50% off this. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So come and you're going to learn. The way that I like to teach my master classes is I channel. I channel quite a bit. Like I let
Okay.
things move through me. So
Uh-huh.
there are some things that come through that people are like, "Oh my gosh, I've been in your world for 2 years and this blew my mind." And I'm like, it just came through me, right?
Yeah.
So people like to come to the master classes because they feel like they can hear things in different ways.
Right. Perfect.
Mhm.
Let's see. Okay, so if there was three things that somebody could do like right now before they get into
Mhm.
your classes, what would that be?
Ooh. First thing that I would say to do is to start to listen to the language of your nervous system. You can do this through what I call a somatic check in. So, right now, just pause and ask yourself, what sensations do I feel? What emotions do I feel? Without having to make meaning of them, without trying to explain why they're there
Or judge?
or judge, can you just notice what sensations are present and what emotions are present? And start to write those things down, because that then gives you context to show you where your nervous system is in
Mm.
a moment to moment basis. And when we work together,
Mm-hmm.
when you come to me, I'm going to say, you're going to log this for a while.
Mm.
Because if every time you sit down to write an email, you notice your heart rate is through the roof,
Mm-hmm.
we've got a survival response
Right.
there that we
Right.
need to work through. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would be the first thing that I would say to do.
Okay.
The second thing that I would say to do is, oh man. I would start, if you're interested in the nervous system, I would start to educate yourself
Mm-hmm.
on what this work looks like. So, some of my favorite books, In an Unspoken Voice by Dr. Peter Levine, is a beautiful book to really understand and get a good explanation about how the nervous system works.
Okay.
Also, the book Anchored by Deb Dana is a great intro to the nervous system book to read. So
Okay.
I would start to educate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third thing I would say is let yourself take one small aligned action towards safety right now. And that could just look like, when I am done listening to this podcast, I am going to turn my car off. You're in the car. When I get to where I'm going, please do not turn it off as you're driving. And I'm just going to pause and I'm going to notice what's around me. I'm going to name 5 things that I can see.
Yes, I've heard that. Yes. To
Yeah.
name five
And
things, it kind of recenters you, right?
recenters your nervous system. Yeah. It signals to your nervous system that you're not in threat,
I see.
right? Because if
Okay.
you can name 5 things that you can see, you realize there's no bear chasing after you.
Right, right. And I also heard, and I think this is along the same lines, it's just where I am I right now? Is
Yeah.
everything okay in my world right now?
Yeah.
Because a lot of that fear is what's coming
Perceived.
perceived, right? And you
Yeah.
look behind you too much, then you feel with regret. Yes, but it's perceiving what if, what if, what if. But if you just stop for the moment and say, right now, my mind is making playing tricks
Mm-hmm.
on me, but everything is
Mm-hmm.
fine. There's nothing, I'm not in immediate danger right this
Yes.
moment. Okay.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are the 3 things I would do.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, what's the best way for
You're
people to get a
welcome.
hold of you?
So I would reach out on Instagram at
Okay.
Lauren Zoeller. And then if you have any questions, you can reach out to my team, info, so info at laurenzoeller.com, and they can send whatever your request is to the right space.
Oh, also, one more thing. You have a podcast.
You do.
What's the
Mm-hmm.
name of your podcast?
Called the Aligned Love Podcast. We are currently we're in between seasons right now. So
Okay.
we have a new season. I have a book that's coming out next year. So we're gearing up for that. But we are probably going to kick off season 3. My team knows this. I think it's the end of November is when season 3
Okay.
starts again.
But
So yeah.
they can listen to what's already there.
Oh yeah. Go binge it. There's tons of
And
episodes.
are you interviewing other people or are you speaking by yourself on your podcast?
Both.
It's both.
It's both.
Okay. So like
Yeah.
taking
I
maybe
love both.
clients and their journey and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time today, Lauren. I've learned a
Of
lot
course.
and I will be working with you in
I
whatever
love it.
capacity that is. And I'm so glad, everything I believe is so timely and you get exactly what you need at the right time. And today was
Thank you.
exactly the right time. And, we had
Yes,
a
it was.
conflict in schedule. So, it worked out perfectly. So thank
Yeah,
you so much. And thank
of
you
course.
everybody for joining us today. And if you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. And if you've not subscribed to my podcast, please do so you don't miss any upcoming episodes. All right. Thank you, Lauren, and have
Thank
a blessed
you.
day. Thank you for being with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.